Hello, I'm Marcy Sepulveda with Phoenix Agent Magazine, and I welcome you today as we interview Christy Walker, the new president of Phoenix Realtors. Some of you may already know Christy, but if not, I want to introduce her to the audience today. Christy is the new president, also the broker owner of Remax Signature, a longtime resident of Phoenix, been involved in the association for 5 years, and you'll be able to learn more about her when we profile her in this year's Who's Who in Phoenix Residential magazine, which will be out this spring. For now, I just wanted to talk about the settlement a little bit and how that's been going on. So, first of all, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. And I wanted to know. I mean, I've heard so many things going on with the NAR settlement, and everybody was all nervous and crazy about what they thought was going to happen with it. What can you tell us about how it's happening, how agents are adjusting, and what's happening in your market?
Sure. We've seen a lot of changes happen, and I think there was more speculation leading up to the changes than maybe the chaos that people anticipated didn't quite pan out the way it was anticipated. But I will say that we had some really great training available, and a lot of our agents jumped into getting the training they needed ahead of time. Our forms were released about a month in advance of the August 17th deadline, and so that really helped. And what we did see was some people just trying to figure out what was the best methodology to use to serve their clients well. And so we definitely saw an increase in communication between agents. We saw some fumbling the first month, but really after the first 4 to 8 weeks, everything kind of settled into a pattern. And it was really nice to see agents working together and cooperating and helping their clients get to where they wanted to go with their move and be able to, discuss commissions openly as part of the negotiations that happened during the transaction. And then this week, we even saw a change in our forms again. So, where we had two that allowed us to negotiate compensation, we're now going to have one. They have found that through the changes, people really have not used the cooperating agreement between brokers. And so they're discontinuing that form because the standard of practice has really become that an offer be submitted with the purchase contract.
And are you hearing changes in how much people are making, are earning? Um, from what I hear when I talk with agents around the country, they're saying that in many cases they're actually walking away with more money in their pockets, and that it's not going down even on the buyer side. So, what are you seeing?
Yeah, and I've heard different tales. So that's a hard one to address because obviously it depends probably on the quality of the agent and whether or not they are holding firm to their value proposition or maybe improving or changing their value proposition in order to charge the professional fee that they charge. I can say for our brokerage, we really have not seen a decrease. In fact, we have seen an increase. So, to your point, Marcy, I think that we have seen those that are doing really well and do a great book of business and serve their clients with excellence. They're not struggling at all with commissions because of what has changed. And so, maybe that impact is more to people that are inexperienced or are willing to maybe negotiate more for the opportunity to serve a client as they're getting started in the business. But overall, I've seen commissions be fairly consistent.
That is just so interesting, don't you think? Everybody was like, we just didn't know what to predict out of this. And as I've heard everything, you have too. And it's really interesting to watch. But because we're not keeping so much data as we did before, a lot of the evidence is anecdotal. But I've been hearing it being an overall kind of a positive change for our whole industry. So
Yes.
there's so much going on in the industry now, it's always changing. It's cyclical, and then there's interest rates and everything else that's going on. What are some of the challenges that you see agents having to deal with in Phoenix? And what kind of things can your associations do to help them mitigate any of the challenges that they're having?
Sure. I think like a lot of parts of the country, we have challenges that are external related to our inventory and related to interest rates and economics. And that is challenging just for agents to be able to create the sales and, of course, the income they need to have a very livable wage. We saw transactions be the lowest they've been in over 10 years last year. And so that was a challenge. But more so, I think we've seen a lot of people get into the industry in the last 3 years. And what we're seeing as a challenge is more so how to help them navigate all of the changes that have happened, because they don't always have the context for years of history to rely on and the stamina to say, okay, I'm going to persevere. And so it has definitely been a challenge, especially as a broker. I've seen myself get more involved with a lot of challenges in relation to transactions or even agent disputes over the last few years, just because, again, there's lots more misunderstanding with agents not being maybe coached or trained or supervised the way that we would like. And so the professionalism is definitely a challenge for those that are full-time. I think our association is doing a great job with addressing some of that through the communication they're doing, the updates, the ongoing education. That's not just the legal continuing education, but other opportunities for people to improve their professional skills. And those opportunities help our agents and our members hopefully become better and be able to take on more of the market share.
That is really great. Is if somebody has a dispute, does the association ever get involved in helping settle disputes? Is that done at the state level?
Yeah, it's done at the state level. So we thankfully have arbitration and mediation through our state association, and they do a fantastic job taking care of that.
Yeah, that's really important, especially when in times of change like this. I know that you're really into tech and making sure that everybody has everything they need for this. What are some of the things that the association can speak to about this?
Yeah, I think our association has done a great job with promoting technology. It is one of our core pillars for our strat plan. And so we understand that those agents with the right technology are going to be able to do more and to do it better and more efficiently. And so we're always looking at opportunities for how do we enable our members to do a better book of business and to make sure that they have the tools they need that are not only necessary but are advantageous. And so with that, we have invested in technology even this last year. We rolled out a new market stats reporting program to allow our agents to pull very quickly the statistics they might need for a listing presentation or a buyer presentation. And then we also were able to invest and roll out a program called Raise, which actually was the #1 company to keep an eye on through T360. And I've been watching it for a couple of years, very excited to get my hands on it finally. And so our members now through the brokers are able to leverage that particular technology, not only to track the activities and the hours they're spending to provide a very comprehensive value proposition to their buyers and sellers, but also to create more transparency and, again, enable communication through automatic notifications of when different steps in the transaction have been completed.
So, how do they access that? Do they go to the website, or I mean, how do they get to be able to use these benefits?
Yeah, so we've been sending out notifications to our members as well as hosting a couple of training webinars. It is a enterprise level only, so the broker would actually need to go and sign up to register for that program. And so if an agent is interested in that, I would definitely encourage you to have your broker reach out to the Phoenix Realtors or just go to Raise, it's RAYSE.com, and they can take a look at what the program offers and then reach out to their customer service for pricing.
I love it. That's great. Last question for you. I know you've been involved in the association for a long time, and I know many association members throughout the country. Can you tell me a little bit and just tell the audience about how they can get involved in being in the association at one level or another? I know that there's a path that sometimes happens that's natural. You start here and then it kind of goes up. And other people just kind of go in and they're a board person or whatever. How did you get into it? How do you think it's helped you in your career? And how can a typical agent who wants to get involved get involved?
Yeah, great question. I think more agents need to get involved, especially because our industry gives so much to us that it's only natural that we should give back and serve our colleagues and, of course, our clients in that way. I was tapped on the shoulder by someone who said, I think you should be more involved. And interestingly enough, I had been at this career for almost 15 years before that really occurred. And it kind of stopped me in my tracks. And I started to look at, okay, what are the opportunities and how can I serve our industry better? And so I got involved that way by reaching out to the Phoenix Realtors and seeing what was available. I'd also applied at the state level to see what opportunities might be available just to volunteer or to serve on a committee. So there are a lot of pathways, and agents can get involved in a number of ways depending on what their level of commitment is. I would say start with reaching out probably to your local association first and see if you can either get on a board if you're interested in serving full time, or if you want to get on a list for committee memberships or ad hoc work groups. Those are formed throughout the year, and often we need a list of agents that are willing to volunteer their time. So if they reach out and ask us, we would love to have a list of qualified individuals who are ready to jump up when we ask for help.
And if you're an agent and you wanted to get involved, if you had a particular uh, an issue that you were really interested in as an agent, are you able to work on that particular issue in the associations, or you kind of just have to be part of the group and things get assigned? How does it work?
Yeah, it's a great question. Every association is a little different, and so agents really do need to reach out to their association team to see how they can serve and what that might look like. I know for me, there have been committees I've applied to that I thought would be great as far as a fit and what I could bring to the table with my skills, and yet maybe I wasn't selected for one and I was put into another. So it is possible that you may not get on the committee you're looking to join immediately, but I think when you show up and start to showcase who you are and your skills and offer value, then you can have an opportunity to, maybe when there's an opening, someone decides they no longer are on that committee, you can step in and fill their shoes. But the best way I think to start is just to show up and say, hey, how can I be involved? And ask, what can I do? And if you do that, then they will start to engage with you and help you get involved in different activities or different work groups, and that way you can start to get known with your association leadership and your colleagues, and hopefully get to really make an impact in our industry.
I'm really glad to be able to talk with you, and I appreciate your time today. I'm sure we'll talk again soon when we can. But for now, I'm going to just say thank you so much for spending some time with me, and I'll get back with you with some other follow-ups. But thank you so much, and thank you everybody for watching. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marcy.
Take care.